I'm sorry, Mr. Sharif. We found no assets, no cash relating to the Nawaz Sharif family. I have no hesitation in issuing that apology on the record in the full glare of TV cameras. The facts do not sustain the position that Prime Minister Sharif was corrupt. They do not. I'm sorry, Mr. Sharif, for having made these accusations and have been part of it. I had complete confidence in Imran Khan. I am profoundly disappointed to see the betrayal. It's a fraud through and through. NAB was set up as a witch hunt against the political opponents of Mr. Musharraf. The biggest target was Mr. Nawaz Sharif. Listen, when the facts change, I change my views.
Mr. Kaveh Moussavi, as CEO of Broadsheet, you have won more than $30 million from Pakistan, and the Broadsheet Pakistan case has cost the state of Pakistan over $65 million. This all started when Pervez Musharraf hired Broadsheet to trace assets of Nawaz Sharif and others. And you have been the integral part of the whole investigation, which has lasted for above probably 2 decades. During all of this time, did you ever find anything against Nawaz Sharif and his family?
We found nothing connecting to the Nawaz Sharif family. We found no assets, no cash relating to the Nawaz Sharif family. We found a lot of plundered assets, but not 1 rupee of that could be connected to the Nawaz Sharif family.
So are you apologizing to Nawaz Sharif and his family for all that has happened in the name of accountability?
I don't think just I. I think anyone who, based on the fraudulent misrepresentations which were made by NAB against Mr. Nawaz Sharif, both as a citizen, ordinary citizen, and also as a former Prime Minister, they owe him an apology. I have no hesitation in issuing that apology on the record in the full glare of TV cameras. The facts do not sustain the position that Prime Minister Sharif was corrupt. They do not. Quite the contrary. When you've investigated someone for all these years and have not come up with a scintilla of evidence that he has 1 rupee of ill-gotten gains, at a minimum you have to say, I'm sorry, Mr. Sharif, for having made these accusations and have been part of it.
There was a claim which made its way to very powerful quarters in Pakistan that Nawaz Sharif had billions of rupees stashed in a Far East bank, and several people had actually said that Kaveh Moussavi knows about those funds and that you had made a claim that those Nawaz Sharif had stored those billions, alleged billions abroad. Was there any truth in that allegation?
Was it 2 trillion or was it 2 billion? I mean, it's a joke. Listen, if anyone knows about these things, it's me. I've been at this for 20 years. It's completely fantasy. It's a fantasy, and we had reports which every day, as the reports came in, we reported them to NAB, and they weren't interested in investigating, so we investigated. We found nothing.
What do you think of the allegations of corruption made by Prime Minister Imran Khan and his government against Nawaz Sharif and his family, especially in view of the recently concluded National Crime Agency investigation in UK?
They saw that the allegations were based on a few newspaper reports written by the friends of Mr. Shahzad Akbar. No court is going to take that seriously. It's embarrassing, frankly. It only confirms what we investigated for all those years. I'm not at all surprised with the result. It wasn't just the incompetence of NAB and the incompetence of Mr. Shahzad Akbar. It was, the fact is, there was nothing there. There was nothing, it was just hot air. And to me, it was clear that after all these years, I can categorize that NAB was set up as a witch hunt against the political opponents of Mr. Musharraf at the time. And of course, the biggest target was Mr. Nawaz Sharif. If after 22 years I can tell you this, you can be pretty sure there's nothing else to be found, because there was nothing to be found.
Excellent. Why do you think Nawaz Sharif and his family were targeted? Is this because of the several political positions that Nawaz Sharif took since 1999?
I think, given what I know of NAB now, I didn't know 22 years ago, Mr. Nawaz Sharif and his family should take this as a badge of honor, frankly, that a corrupt organization. It's a racketeer-influenced corrupt organization masquerading as a National Accountability Bureau. It really is a badge of honor for the Nawaz Sharif family that NAB should have come after them. I almost wish they came after me, because if they did, it would show that you know a person by their enemies. If crooks are your enemies, then you're doing all right, I think.
What do you think of the several allegations of corruption made by Prime Minister Imran Khan, Shahzad Akbar, especially in view of the fact that Prime Minister Imran Khan has been in power for nearly 4 years, and during all these 4 years his government did not start a single case against Nawaz Sharif or his family in the UK, and the only case that was started resulted into no further action and clean chit for Nawaz Sharif's brother Shahbaz Sharif.
As you know, I had complete confidence in Imran Khan. My position is 180 degrees opposed and opposite to what it was when Imran Khan came to power. He fooled all of us. I had the misfortune of sitting very closely with his minister who's responsible for these things, Mr. Shahzad Akbar. What a fraud. So what a surprise, not a surprise. I have given them masses of information about our investigations, about corruption in NAB, about collusion of NAB with foreign hedge funds. They've done nothing about it, nothing. There are honest people inside NAB who are giving me information. I'm very worried for their safety and security, but they show every evidence that they are more frightened of the Imran Khan government than of their targets. It used to be the case that if you investigated a target, well, you may run into some problems. My sources who are giving me information about the collusion between NAB officials and foreign hedge funds, they have every reason to be frightened of this government. The reason why the government has done nothing is because it's a fraud. It's a complete pack of lies. I've had discussions with the minister, with ministers in the Imran Khan cabinet. I've given them masses of information. They have done nothing, absolutely nothing.
Is this correct that you were in touch, Prime Minister Imran Khan was in touch with you, speaking to you through a middleman, through a trusted minister?
Mr. Ali Shah, yes, I've spoken with him, and I made sure I had witnesses in the room who were there, and on a number of occasions I have spoken with him, and I have passed on information again and again and again, and they've done nothing. I think it was just a political agenda. They had no interest in the truth. They had no interest in the national interests of Pakistan. They had no interest in investigating corruption at all. And if you want the evidence, just see whether they did anything about the information I gave them. They did nothing.
Okay. There was a time last year when a call was planned between you and Imran Khan by Imran Khan's ministers. That is the time when you had recently won about $30 million from Pakistan. But then you put a demand that your each and every penny needs to be paid first to you and then you will speak to Prime Minister Imran Khan. What was the reason for that?
They had said to me again and again that orders had been issued to make sure that you are paid. We are a law-abiding government. We believe in the rule of law, and if a court has so ordered, we'll obey it. Well, they didn't. I said this to Shahzad Akbar. I said to the minister, you tell me you're a law-abiding government. A court has ordered you to pay. Why aren't you paying? I didn't know at the time. I do know they had no interest in obeying court orders. This is not a rule-based, a law-based government. And beyond that, there's the deep conspiracy and collusion going on inside NAB to delay. They're pretending to the people of Pakistan that they're delaying for patriotic reasons. The real reason is the delay means that this conspiracy that they've engaged in with an external hedge fund benefits both of them. That's what the reality is.
Kaveh, you were once a big-time supporter of Prime Minister Imran Khan, but then you got disillusioned and disappointed. Where did things go wrong, and what was the point when you became disillusioned?
Listen, when the facts change, I change my views. And in this instance, it was love at first sight, as it were. And then, I am profoundly disappointed to see the betrayal, and I have no hesitation in using the word betrayal. Betrayal of the ideals which were committed to.
You have been dealing extensively with Prime Minister Imran Khan's government. Is this true that you are in touch with Prime Minister Imran Khan through Minister Ali Zaidi?
Imran Khan government is a fraud. It's a fraud through and through. What I've seen, it has no respect for the rule of law. It has no interest in fighting corruption. You know, I wish it was just hot air, but the consequences for the people of Pakistan are so dramatic, they're so catastrophic, that I have to condemn his government in the most forthright manner, without any hesitation, without punching the air or pulling my punches in any way. I have to say that.
Kaveh, you have read the entire National Crime Agency report into Nawaz Sharif that was sent by the Assets Recovery Unit of Pakistan. Why do you think the National Crime Agency took no action and instead gave a clean chit to Nawaz Sharif?
Only a fool would go in with that kind of evidence. I wouldn't go to trial with that evidence. I would, even when the standard of in this instance, unexplained wealth orders, the standard is not the criminal standard. You know, in fact, the burden of proof is the other way. They couldn't even reach that burden of proof. You know, which suggests that it was a complete witch hunt. The minister's motives were not what they made out to the people of Pakistan. Look, I should know. I've fought corruption for nearly 40 years. So I know. I had a record in Mexico, in other countries. This was a fraudulent attempt to mislead the people of Pakistan into thinking that they are proactively pursuing stolen assets, in this instance by a former Prime Minister, Nawaz Sharif, and the court made a very short shrift of that one, didn't it? You can't go into court based on some newspaper reports written by a friend of yours, you know, you just can't do that.